Geneviève.
Thank you, Geneviève.
C'est plus difficile à voir, hein?
Thank you, Geneviève.
Bienvenue tout le monde. I know that we're starting to have summer, but I have to bring you back into Christmas time. I'm warning you that most of my presentation is en français. So for those of you who don't want to practice your français, maybe you would like to put on your little headphones pour bien comprendre tout ce que je vais dire. Pourquoi je commence avec ça? It's a wonderful life.
Why am I starting with that? It's a wonderful life. It's true, it's a wonderful life in Manitoba and Canada, but it's a movie concerning what? It's about a guy, George Bailey, who's had it up to there. He wants to leave, small town, fed up. I want to see the world, something better, bigger. And he's about to, kill himself, commit suicide, and his angel stops him and says, "Hey, George, if you hadn't been there, look at what would not have happened. Look at what we wouldn't have today. Look at what people would have not had if you had not been there." So, my little presentation today is, how would Canada look without bilingualism? Just imagine a non-bilingual Canada, and I'll talk more about Manitoba actually in my presentation. So, can you imagine if we didn't have any French schools and immersion schools? We wouldn't have French daycare. It's hard to read in English.
You can understand. Just kidding. On n'aurait probablement pas d'université de Saint-Boniface.
We wouldn't have the University of St. Boniface. Wouldn't have Franco-Manitoban Cultural Center. Wouldn't have the Voyageurs Festival. I mean, can you imagine? We wouldn't have any CDM. The rural development. We wouldn't have the St. Boniface Museum. Who'd use it? No bilingualism. We wouldn't have writers like Jacqueline Blais, Roger Léveillé, Lise Gabouret-Diallo, Joanne Thernier. Who'd be reading their books if we didn't have bilingualism in Canada? Danielle Lavoie, Chic Gamine, Oh My Darling, Marie-Josée. The most recent ones, they wouldn't be there. We know Danielle Lavoie, but there's all kinds of other new ones coming up that can profit from a bilingual Canada. Would we have a bilingual World Trade Center right in the middle of Winnipeg? I don't think so. Would we have a Radio-Canada? I don't really like to think about it. At one point, Canada decided that bilingualism was a Canadian value. Why? Well, with the natives here, and two countries, two founding countries, they wanted to found another country, a dynamic and unique country. They decided we weren't like the States, we were different. We were a Canada that it's easier with a bilingual Canada to draw people in from other areas, different ethnic groups, etc. Invite them to come and live in Canada, discover its riches, bilingualism, biculturalism. When you have two languages, you're open to the world a bit more. And multiculturalism, it's important in Canada. But if you didn't have any bilingualism, could you actually have multiculturalism? I mean, you start off with two people and two founding European peoples and the natives or Aboriginals or First Nations. Wouldn't have multiculturalism if it wasn't for that. In our immersion schools in Manitoba, what we have is Germans, Chinese, Arabs, people from everywhere that share one thing. They share the will to learn French. In the business world, we have people that make economic connections right away. Why? Because they share a language and another language. And in all kind of different contexts, worldwide, people speak 5, 6 languages. Everybody does, So why not reinforce this Canadian value which is bilingualism. Okay, Anglophones, you can read it now, you can read it, very important, very important. Fun, fun, fun. That's why I want to learn French, because it's fun, fun, fun. But no, seriously. We know that it opens doors and opens us to the world. And opens the world to us. And having a second language, there are so many studies that say that it makes it easier to learn other things, even math. So I have a dream. It's true that bilingualism is there as a Canadian value, but it's not always clear. I'm not talking about bilingual Canada with the French, Quebec, and the rest of Canada English. Let's quit it with this two-solitude thing. We need to be bilingual from one end of the country to the other. In 2017, we're having the Canada Games. Games, young athletes getting together around athletics, go beyond themselves, excellency. But it's a way of getting Canada together. It's Anglophones, Francophones, First Nations, all kinds of different backgrounds coming here to Winnipeg in 2017 to do something that's important for them. So that's what I'd like to see for us in 2017. Make a decision as Canadians that bilingualism is one of our important values. It's not just, turn page, it's in French, turn the page, it's in English. No.
Non, arrêtons. C'est juste, pourquoi pas?
No, let's just stop that attitude. I mean, it doesn't cost much money. When you talk about return on investment.
My dream is that in 2017, we don't question it anymore. George Bailey, il ne voyait pas d'avenir, lui.
George Bailey, he didn't see a future. He didn't see that in his little town until he was shown what his real value was. Look at all you did. Look at what George Bailey did. But if we didn't have bilingualism in Canada, what would we be missing? That's what I tried to show you. So I'd really like us to decide that in 2017 we'd do something and give bilingualism its full value. That's the most important thing. That's why you should really like bilingualism. There you go. The real reason. I know we have representatives of the University of St. Boniface here.
They're going to go up now. I had a question. You talked about return on investment. And I've been hearing in my work as a host, as a reporter, a lot more in a couple of weeks, I would say, about le cachet francophone. How do you think that can take place anywhere in Canada? What is that cachet francophone, and how should we use it?
What's this francophone cachet?
Ben, c'est le mot fun dans francophone.
What's the word fun in francophone, I think, you know? When you talk about francophone, for me, it's an opening, a door open on the world. I lived in Vancouver. Vancouver, when you spoke French, it had a certain cachet. If you speak two languages, you can welcome all the other languages. And I'm not quite answering your question, but 2017, you know, is a celebration of what we have to offer in a bilingual Canada, and that we have the party around something that's actually fun. Because, you know, speaking perfect French or perfect English, not that important, but open the door to bilingualism and through bilingualism.